Hi everyone, happy Tuesday, or whatever day it is you're working on Tuesday's assignment. So this week we are working on the basic requirements in writing, right? The big three. We're actually going to work on this over the next few weeks. I said all this in my video yesterday, so I don't want to waste a bunch of our time repeating what we've already discussed. Just remember this week is complete sentences. So yesterday we looked at recognizing subject and predicate. And today we're going to look at fragments. So a fragment is something that looks like a sentence, but it is missing something. So it may look like a sentence. It has a capital letter at the beginning, it has a period at the end, kind of looks like a sentence. It may even sound like a sentence because we're used to hearing it spoken that way, but it's not technically a complete sentence. It's missing its subject, or it's missing its predicate, or it doesn't communicate a complete idea. So I want to look at these three examples, and then we're going to do the little practice down here, and that'll be it for today. So first, let's look at these examples more about the puppy. All right, so we have played all morning. Played all morning. This is missing its subject. We have a predicate, played, right? Remember, a predicate is always a verb. A verb is always a predicate. So here, played all morning. Who or what played all morning? We don't know. So not only does this not communicate a complete idea, right, but it's missing its subject, which is why it doesn't communicate a complete idea. Who or what played all morning? Well, we know it's the puppy. But if I just walked up to you and said, hey, played all morning, you'd be like, what are you talking about? Have you lost your mind? It just doesn't make any sense at all. Here, this one, the puppy is missing its predicate. So now we have a subject, puppy. It's a noun. Remember, a subject is always a noun or a pronoun. And we have here the puppy, but we don't know what they're saying about the puppy. What about the puppy? Did the puppy do something? Is the puppy something? The puppy is tired. The puppy is cute. The puppy played all day, right? We don't know because all we're saying is the puppy. Clearly, this doesn't communicate a complete idea, and it doesn't because it is missing its predicate. All right, and then this last example is a little bit more complicated, if I'm completely honest. Because if you look at it and you look for your subject, you look for your predicate, you're going to find them, but this is still a fragment. So let's look a little bit more closely at this one. Because the puppy played all morning. So let's find it. Our subject, who or what is this sentence about? It's about the puppy, right? So there's our subject. Fantastic. Now, what's our predicate? We know a predicate is a verb. And there is a verb here, played. And oops, okay. Because the puppy played all morning. So we have a predicate here, played. So that means we have a subject predicate set, puppy played. And that makes sense with what we're saying here. Because the puppy played all morning, what is this sentence basically saying? Well, puppy played. But does it pass the third test? Does it communicate a complete idea? Because the puppy played all morning. This is not a complete idea. So if someone just walked up to you and said, because the puppy played all morning, you would be waiting for more information, right? This is a cause and effect. Even if you don't recognize it right off the bat as a cause and effect type of sentence, it is what it is. So they're saying, because the puppy played all morning, that's the cause. What's the effect? It slept all afternoon. Because the puppy played all morning, it slept all afternoon. Right? We're waiting for more information. Now, the reason this one trips up a lot of people is because this is how we talk. When we're not writing formal English for our English class and we're just talking like regular folks with our friends and whatever, this is how we talk. Someone might say, why did that puppy sleep all afternoon? And you'd say, because the puppy played all morning. And that would be fine in informal speech. But when we're writing formally, we cannot say just because the puppy played all morning. It's the addition of this word because. So in middle school, they tell you never start a sentence with because. Now, the truth is you can start a sentence with because, They ask you not to do it in middle school because they feel like maybe you're not quite ready to write these more sophisticated, complex sentences. But now in high school, we're going to write these. So it's okay to start it with because. Just know that here where we have a period, you need a comma, and then you have to say more. Because the puppy played all morning, comma, it's really tired, period. You can't just leave it at that. All right, let's get into these six practice sentences. We are going to first decide if the sentence is indeed a sentence or if it is a fragment. If it is a fragment, we're going to decide what's missing and then fix it. So is it missing its subject? Is it missing its predicate? Or is it not communicating a complete idea? Like we saw with this one, we know that sometimes there's a subject and a predicate, but it's still a fragment because it's not a complete idea. All right, number one, that little girl. So we know that a subject has to be a noun or a pronoun. Do you see any nouns or pronouns? Of course you do. Girl, noun. So if girl is our subject, what is that little girl doing? Well, I don't see any action verb, so she's not really doing anything. I don't see a verb of being or a linking verb, right? There's no am, is, are, was, were, etc. So this is not a complete idea. What do you want to say about the little girl? We don't know anything about her. So this is clearly a fragment. We have a subject, girl. We need the predicate, the verb part of the sentence. So we could say, that little girl played hopscotch. Okay, played, it would be our predicate. That little girl is nice. Is our verb. So that would be our predicate. But we clearly need to add the predicate to this sentence, so it is a fragment. Number two, the book is great. All right, so I see my subject here, book. I see a verb here is. A verb is always a predicate, so you never have to wonder. Like with nouns and pronouns, there might be multiple nouns in a sentence, and they're not all going to be the subject. If there's multiple verbs, they are all going to be the predicate. There might be more than one subject predicate set in a sentence, and we'll get into that later, but you can rest assured that the verb is always a predicate. All right, we can get into more complicated sentences later where we have multiple subject predicate sets. Right now, let's just keep it simple. All right, the book is great. So here we have our subject predicate set, book is. This is a complete sentence. We are good to go. All right, number three, saw the dog. What could our subject be? Well, dog is a noun. Maybe dog is our subject. And saw is a verb. Maybe that's our predicate. That would give us the predicate set dog saw. Here's my question to you though. Dog saw. Is this sentence or fragment, this group of words, saying that the dog saw something? No, it's saying that something saw the dog. So dog saw cannot be our subject predicate set. So that leads me to believe that saw here must be our predicate. And we're missing our subject. Who or what saw the dog? So we need to add a subject. Joe would be just fine. Joe saw the dog. Then our subject predicate set would be Joe saw. You might be asking then, what is the dog? We will get into that later. Yeah, not today. Number four, close the door. Close the door. Now, we've talked about this kind of sentence before, but definitely something I wanted to review. Close the door. This is an imperative sentence. It gives a command or an imperative, right? It tells you to do something. So here we have a noun door and we have a verb close. So is our subject predicate set door close? Does that fit with like Joe saw, girl played, puppy played, right? Door close? Did the door close something? That doesn't make sense, right? So we're telling somebody to close the door. It's a command. So when you have these sort of sentences, these imperative sentences, the subject of the sentence is you. Even though the word you, Y-O-U, is not part of the sentence, it is understood that if I say close the door, I'm talking to you. And so you is the subject and close is the predicate, and it is a complete sentence. Beware, you cannot just tack you onto any old fragment and call it good. Let's look at this number 3 that we already talked about. For example, if I said you saw the dog, yes, that's a sentence. But that does not make saw the dog a complete sentence. And we can say, well, remember, it's an imperative because it's not. It's not giving a command. See how number 4 is telling you to do something? Close the door. Number 3, saw the dog, is not telling you to do something. So it cannot have that understood you as its subject. It has to be a command. Close the door, pass the salt, have a nice day, right? It's telling you to do something. Then you is its subject. So close the door is a complete sentence. The subject is you and the predicate is close. It's a super weird one. All right, number 5, because I'm tired. This is very close to this one we looked at up here, right? Because the puppy played all morning. Why are you moving so slowly? Because I'm tired. Yes, that's how we talk, but no, that is not a complete sentence. I'm tired is a complete sentence. The subject would be I, the predicate would be am, because I'm is I am. But here with that because, we're expecting more. It's not a complete idea. Because I'm tired, comma, I'm moving slowly. All right, so this one is a fragment. And it really does need, here's the other thing about this one. It really does need both its subject and its predicate. It doesn't have either one. Because I'm tired, comma, I am moving. I would be the subject, am moving would be the predicate, slowly. All right. Cats purr. Cats purr. It's only 2 sentences. Could this possibly be a sentence? Sure it can. The subject is cats and the predicate is purr. We have a subject and a predicate and a complete idea. If I'm just telling you a simple basic fact about felines, right? Cats purr. It's a complete sentence. So sentences can be very, very short. When we get into run-ons, we'll look at too how incorrect sentences, whether they're fragments or they're run-ons, they can be long or short. Don't assume that something short is a fragment or something long is a run-on. We'll get into that tomorrow too. All right, guys, so this is it for our practice with fragments today. If you have questions or concerns, please Google Meet with me and have a great day.